On this special Christmas edition of Wellington Then and Now, I will explore the story of one man who became a bit of a Christmas celebrity in Wellington. If you were alive anytime before 1985 and lived in Wellington, there's a good chance you sat on this man's lap, or you waited excitedly for him to pass by in the Christmas parade. If not, then you've probably heard others talk about this extraordinary man. His name was Ed Johnson. For 35 years, he played Santa for every Christmas parade, elementary school, nursing home, business, and Christmas party in Wellington. For most of those old enough to remember, he not only played Santa, he was Santa. It all began almost 75 years ago when Ed was hired to play Santa at the school where his wife Frances taught in 1939. Later, after serving in the military during World War II, he got a job with the Broadbeck-Schrader Carnival, which just happened to have a booking in Wellington. Ed and his wife liked the town so much they made it their home in 1950. Ed wasted no time reviving his Santa skills once he arrived in Wellington. He started playing Santa Claus at local events in 1952. According to one article, Ed said there was no one else to play Santa when he moved to Wellington, so he simply took the job, and that's how it all got started. It wasn't long before Ed had more work than he knew what to do with. During the Christmas season, he was constantly on the go, playing Santa at private parties, visiting all the grade schools, nursing homes, and visiting store after store in the downtown area. He was also the highlight of every Christmas parade for 35 years. Children would line the streets waiting for the man in red to pass by. Just to give an example of how Ed brought Christmas joy to the people of Wellington, here is a tribute that was given to Ed by Jerry Zogelman on December 18, 1981. It reads, "It was 2 weeks ago tomorrow. The wind was brisk but the sun was shining and it was an otherwise beautiful morning. The excitement was in the air created by all the children that lined the street. The anticipation flowed like static electricity. The first to come was the band, then the cars with the city officials, floats, horses, and clowns. But the hundreds of little faces kept glancing to the south for the sleigh and reindeer that carried the one special man they had waited for. He pulled by, waving from side to side, responding to all the yells and cheers and children that had gathered around the sleigh. I was holding my niece in my arms by this time as the crowd had collected around us. Looking somewhat tired, the man climbed down from the sleigh and started through the crowd. My niece said to me, 'I'm waving at Santa,' and my nephew at my side asked, 'Do you believe in him?' I suddenly flashed back more than just years, over 2 decades in fact, and saw myself standing in front of that same building, my eyes glued to the same man and filled with the same joy I was experiencing that day 2 weeks ago." It seems that Ed not only rode in the parade, but he also built several of the floats he rode on. As you can see by these photos, some of them were quite extravagant. As if that wasn't enough work for one man, his Santa duties didn't end there. He also made house calls. If you wanted, Ed would come to your house and play Santa on Christmas Eve. When it came to December 24th, his schedule was completely full. According to one article, he would begin his route at about 4 o'clock in the afternoon, and he wouldn't get home until about 11 at night. When he would return from a long day of visiting houses, he would come home with candy, cookies, apples, popcorn balls, and all kinds of goodies that were given to him by kids and parents. According to the same article, he would make about 45 house calls every Christmas Eve. Ed became so well known for playing Old St. Nick that the names Ed Johnson and Santa Claus were almost interchangeable in Wellington. Ed's wife Frances once said he'd had more grown women sit on his lap than any other man in Wellington. Everyone knew Ed for playing Santa. Everyone but his kids, that is. You see, somehow Ed kept his second identity a secret from his 4 children. They always thought Santa had lost his voice from a cold because when it came their time to sit on Santa's lap, he would never speak but only nod his head. When it came to his Santa clothes and equipment, Ed went all out. He had a real velvet suit, real leather boots with fur sewed on the tops, and carried real sleigh bells. When Ed had to drive somewhere while dressed as Santa, he would have Rudolph the reindeer drive his vehicle. Rudolph was usually a family member or someone from the fire department or the police department. His Santa chair was very heavy and had originally been the exalted ruler's chair from the Elks Lodge. When it came to making house calls on Christmas Eve, Ed experienced every kind of weather possible. Sometimes it was clear, sometimes it would snow, sometimes there would be a blizzard, and sometimes it would rain and sleet. But no matter what, Ed never missed a house call. Not only were requests made for house calls on Christmas Eve, but many people asked if he could be Santa on Christmas Day. However, he never did it. You see, Christmas Day was Ed's time to spend with his family. Ed played Santa every year until 1985 when he was disabled by a major stroke. He died on February 21st, 1989. Even though Ed is gone now, his legacy as the man who brought Christmas joy to so many lives on not only in the hearts of those who knew him, but also at the Chisholm Trail Museum here in Wellington. In an exhibit dedicated to his memory, you can take a look at his famous red suit, his leather boots, and his jingling sleigh bells. On the walls are tons of photos of happy faces, young and old, as they got the chance to sit on Santa Ed's lap. You can also read through dozens of letters written to Santa from Wellington kids every year. It doesn't take long to see just how much this man meant to the people of Wellington. For 35 years, it wasn't officially Christmas for most Wellington kids until they sat on Santa Ed's lap or got to watch him as he came riding down Main Street in his sleigh, bringing with him the joy of Christmas. That's it for now. I'll see you next time on Wellington Then and Now. If you would like to share any interesting facts about Wellington's past, you can contact us at 620-326-8989, or you can send an email to cjohnston@sutv.com.